talks Jim Rome. The Fox Sports girls want his autograph. He cheap shots Ndamukong Suh. He is the most interesting sports host in the world.
I don't always talk sports. Oh wait, I do. Stay thirsty, my friends.
And with that, welcome to the Week 6 edition of the Tom Greene Show. NFL is back once again, and so is the Goonie Draft himself. Cole Martin's somewhere between 57 and 88. I'm not
57.
exactly sure. 57, I guess, because his Instagram is 88.
Yeah, it changed. It's a little different.
He likes to put a little ebb and flow on
Yeah,
it.
somewhere around there.
Exactly. So, last week was a less than impressive week for me had it been a full 16-game schedule. But luckily 4 teams were on a bye week, so at least I looked somewhat impressive. An 8-6 record led me to 51-26 overall. Cole, how did we do?
I got 8-6 as well.
He just picked a couple games that I didn't.
Well, back and forth pretty much is what we did.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a total record on you, or?
Not on me, so I'm going to say this is my total records right now. We're just going to go with 8-6.
Okay. We'll have him set up for next week, though. So, without further ado, Week 6 is here in the NFL. Time flies, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But it's football, so any week of football is good. Except if you're Aaron Hernandez.
No.
Anyway, Thursday night game, Chicago against the New York, or I should say, to ruin a classic movie, Eli Manning and the 0-5 Dwarves.
Well, Chicago came off a pretty good game last week against the New Orleans Saints. Sadly, New Orleans was a lot much better of a team as they kept to 5-0 this year. But Chicago, Jay Cutler showed that he has a threat in wide receiver in Jeffrey and also now in Marshall as well. So they have a dual threat in the receiver slots.
Don't forget about Martellus Bennett.
And Bennett as well, yes. But Giants as well have a great passing team, and with Cruz and
Hakeem Nicks.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Eli, who's having somewhat of a struggle year this year, it's going to be a pretty high flying game in this one. But I have Chicago winning this one tonight, 31-14.
I also have Chicago winning. A little bit lower scoring because I just have a feeling that this won't be a week of high scoring, unlike last week. But unfortunately, the Giants have problems. Eli Manning is one of them, but he's not a bad quarterback. He's just having a bad season, kind of like Justin Verlander has this year with the Tigers. We'll talk Tigers just a little later, but I think Chicago wins because I think they've now fallen back to reality with the loss to the Saints. What a difference Sean Payton makes. And I think Trestman will fire up the troops, bring them back to where they were, and they will win this game on a Robbie Gould field goal in the closing seconds, 20-17. Now to the Sunday games, Buffalo against Cincinnati.
Buffalo having some struggles right now as their starting quarterback, E.J. Manuel, out for a little while, a month.
And they had to use a tool as their quarterback.
Yes, who was very horrible this week. And I believe they just got a quarterback from their practice team to start this week. So that is, in my question, automatically pretty much a loss for them in my book. And Cincinnati coming off a great week beating the New England Patriots and not even allowing Tom Brady or any of that Patriots offense to score a touchdown last week.
He was crying inside.
Yeah, but I was actually, not gonna lie, because his record got broken. His going for the record was broken last week. But as of right now, I have Cincinnati winning a blowout here, 28-10.
I also have Cincinnati winning. We're 2 for 2 right now. Because Buffalo is proven to be a decent team, and I think their year will come soon. But their year is clearly not this year. Because you have a first-year head coach in Doug Marrone, 2 first-year quarterbacks in E.J. Manuel and the Tool himself, Jeff Toole. And they pass up on the opportunity to sign Josh Freeman, and they bring up a guy from their practice squad. I mean, Allen Iverson is probably just in heaven right now. But still, the practice squad. The practice squad. Cincinnati wins this game, and Harrison has a better game than he has this season with Cincinnati. 23-14. Houday. And now the other Ohio team, which I hate, against my team. Browns-Lions.
Well, for Detroit, they got brought back to reality, I believe, last week as they played Green Bay. As without Calvin Johnson, they looked very weak, as the receiving core could not do anything, and Stafford just couldn't throw the ball or have any complete good throws out there. And then you have a Cleveland team who's actually on a 3-0 in the last 3 weeks, but with an injured quarterback.
Is this real life?
Yeah, again, they have a new backup quarterback now, Whedon, now coming back to the team. And truthfully, I don't know if he can carry this team away like, I can't remember this current quarterback was anymore.
Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer, thank you. Brian Hoyer did it for them, as he is now out for the season after his injury last Thursday. And I believe Calvin Johnson's a huge part of this game if he plays Sunday or not. But if Calvin Johnson plays, I have Detroit winning 24-13.
I have Detroit winning as well. Not just because I hate the Browns and I like Detroit, but because I think Cleveland will finally settle back to where they were and where they should be. Reality. It's hard to handle, I know, isn't it, Cleveland? But Hoyer's out with the ACL injury, just like Cole said. Whedon is not that great. He's 28 years old, but he's not that great.
He's struggled his 2 years here so far.
Whether or not Calvin Johnson plays is almost irrelevant because of Cleveland's quarterback situation. All they've really got is Willis McGahee right now. It's with Hoyer going out. So, I think Detroit wins, and I almost think they win this kind of handily, 27-7. But that one, of course, just like any other of the scores I've picked throughout this season, is destined to go wrong. So, why not? So, Baltimore against Green Bay.
That one, I think, will be an interesting one here. Let's see if I can find that game on here, actually. There we go. Green Bay coming off a very good game against Detroit here. First half, it looked like...
Sadly.
Yeah, but Green Bay looked like they had a great job, horrible actually job in the first half against Detroit, only getting, I believe, 9 points on all field goals against Detroit. Second half, they came alive and lit up the Lions' defense. Then you have a Baltimore team who was Joe Flacco, who is struggling so far this year.
You mean Bert from Sesame Street?
Yes. But Joe Flacco is struggling so far this year, throwing quite a few interceptions. And last week, not even have throwing for a touchdown, as Ray Rice had to take a lot of the damage through the ground, as he had 2 touchdowns last week. But I do believe both defenses having a little bit of struggle at points. And in this one, I believe Green Bay is going to win in a close one, 17-14.
17-14, I like that score, but here's my pick. As Cole and I thought last week, we thought that Detroit and Green Bay was going to be the shootout of the week. It clearly wasn't, with the Denver and Dallas game being the shootout of the week. This week, I think this game is the shootout of the week. Baltimore against Green Bay. Because not so much the defenses, but the offenses too. Aaron Rodgers against Bert. I mean, 2 decent quarterbacks. Yes, Bert, you're a decent quarterback, Bert. I know, aren't I, Ernie? Yes, Bert. I know you like to throw the ball to Jacoby Jones when he's hurt, Bert. I know. Green Bay wins this game 35-21. That might be a high score, but like I said, I think it's a shootout of the week. Right, Bert? Yes, Ernie. Kansas City against Oakland.
Well, last week you had Oakland, who had a very great game against San Diego team, as a great job by Terrell Pryor for the Oakland Raiders, as he played a great game and led the Oakland to a surprising win over San Diego. Then you have Kansas City, who is...
Terrell Pryor.
Kansas City, who is 5-0 so far this year, who's completely shocked me for everything they've done so far with Alex Smith and everybody in that entire offense and defense. As last week, though, I believe their defense was shown a weakness as Tennessee drove and actually had the lead at the end of the game until Kansas City finally found a way to break the game open. Fitzpatrick, who was a backup quarterback for Tennessee, showed that Kansas City had a weakness. But in this game, I believe Kansas City will still prevail in this one. As I'm going to say it's a close game, though, 21-17.
Okay. Kansas City, of course, has proven to be good this year under the Kool-Aid Man. Or, wait a second, Kansas City? I thought that said KFC! But anyway, regardless, Kansas City has proven to be a better team than most people would have thought this far in the season. Their defense has shown a weakness, and Tennessee was proven not to be the only 10 that Kansas City sees. Yes, I made fun of that pickup line. But Oakland, even though they had an impressive victory against San Diego, which I did not think they were going to get, it's been proven over the years that a West Coast team that goes on the road and plays at 1 doesn't really do that well. And it fares the same this week, as Arrowhead Stadium is a tough place to play. Kansas City wins this, and I think they win big, 35-14. Now, Houston and St. Louis.
That is also a great game so far this week, as Houston right now is struggling really bad so far this year with a horrible offense showing by Matt Scrub, as he needs Scrub. Sorry,
he might be a little bit of a scrub these past
right
3 weeks, but
as he's having 3 horrible weeks so far, and fans now showing up at his door trying to do stuff to him. And then we have who were they playing again?
They are playing St. Louis.
St. Louis, okay. St. Louis, who is also a very struggling team so far this year, as they have not been able to find anything yet, as they actually got a win last against Jacksonville, but again, Jacksonville, not that impressive a team so far this year. But I do believe in this one, Houston will finally get a win they need, as they're going to win this one 24-10.
This one was probably one of the only... There are probably only 2 toss-ups this week, and this game is one of them. Houston against St. Louis. The big reason why is not so much because Matt Schaub's favorite number that he would pick is 6, but Owen Daniels is out for 8 weeks. Yes, Houston fans, I think the sky is falling. I know, the chicken was right, the sky is falling, because I do think, and Cole might be thinking, what is he thinking when he's picking this? But I think St. Louis wins this game 17-10, because I have a feeling that Schaub will have another less than impressive game, and somehow Sam Bradford will throw for 2 touchdowns, and Legatron will get a field goal in the 4th quarter to preserve this game that St. Louis will somehow win. I just have a feeling. Now, Minnesota, or should I say Josh Freeman, against Cam Newton and Carolina.
Carolina last week with a horrible week against the Arizona Cardinals, only getting 6 points in the game. And also Cam Newton throwing 3 interceptions, which is pretty sad in his kind of effort in that one, trying to get this team back to where they need to be. And then you also have a Minnesota team who is now in a quarterback controversy here with Josh Freeman, Matt Castle, and can't remember his name.
Josh Freeman, Matt Castle, and Christian Ponder.
Yeah, Christian Ponder. And I believe they said this week Matt Castle will be getting the start, as Josh Freeman's going to learn how to get the offense this week. And that's, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago, Matt Castle had a great game and got them their first win of the year against
the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And I think I was in London as well in that game.
London's Toilet Bowl.
And I believe Matt Castle will win the starting job for this team here. And I believe they're going to win this game 24-14.
I also think they win this game. I wasn't really expecting Castle to start this game, but I don't think that really matters because, let's face it, Cam Newton's terrible. He's got a Heisman under his belt, but that's all he's got. Minnesota wins this game 28-20. The loud fans of the Metrodome will say otherwise. Jets, the other toss-up of the week, Jets against the Steel Curtain.
Well, Pittsburgh coming off a bye week here, trying to get things together after an 0-4 start, which is the first time they've done this since 1968, if I believe the stats said.
And Dick LeBeau was coaching back then.
Yeah, and then you got just a Pittsburgh team that was just struggling for some reason as Ben Roethlisberger trying to get something clicking on that offense, the same as Antonio Brown as well. And then you have a New York Jets team who, I don't know where they came from last week, but being an Atlanta Falcons team as Geno Smith playing, I believe, the best game of his NFL career. 3 touchdowns and no interceptions or turnovers in that game. As he also led the team down with under 2 minutes to get the game-winning field goal in that game. In this game, he said this is a toss-up for me. I'm not 100% sure. But I have to go with the Jets, Jets, 17-14.
I literally had to flip a coin for this one. And if that tells you this is a real toss-up. The coin came up Pittsburgh, and I decided to agree with it because Pittsburgh has been good after their bye week, as historically shown. And although the offense has their problems with Todd Haley, I think Dick LeBeau straightens them out. And somehow Dick LeBeau gets to coach the offense too, because Dick LeBeau is something else. Dick LeBeau has been coaching since Bob Costas has lived. Anyway, enough about Dick LeBeau. Pittsburgh wins 27-17. Tampa Bay against Philadelphia.
Well, here you got a Philadelphia team who is trying to get something going here as well this season, as now I believe Foles will be a starting quarterback this week as Vic is hurt with a hamstring injury, which Foles did a great job last week as he had 2 touchdown passes in a great game. I can't remember who it was against, but Foles still had a great game in that one.
Giants.
Giants, yeah. And you also have Deshaun Jackson now putting a threat against Revis Island this week, saying that he can't cover him. So that is an interesting match to watch this week, I believe. But I still believe Philadelphia is going to pull away a huge win in this one, 31-10.
I picked Philadelphia as well because, let's face it, Tampa Bay has lost their quarterback, are losing faith in their coach. Their best player does not like the coach. All signs are pointing towards the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. And it's going to be a high-scoring game because of the Chip Kelly offense. 35-21, I think. Anyway. Now to the late games. This week's, do we even have to mention it? Denver against Jacksonville.
This is going to be a very interesting game to me. As you have Peyton Manning, who is just outstanding so far this year, as a huge shootout game against Tony Romo and the Cowboys last week, which they pulled off with a late field goal in the game to win it. As Jacksonville, they are just in a deep hole right now, as they have nothing going on offense, nothing going on defense at all, as they have right now set an NFL record most points so far in the season. And Denver, I believe, is not going to help that for them at all, as Peyton Manning, Wes Walker, Eric Decker is going to be way too powerful for them. I believe this game could be higher than this, but this is what I'm going to say. I'm saying Denver 49-7.
I think somewhere Cole is crying inside saying, I miss Wes Walker! I miss you, Wes! I miss you! And so does Tom Brady is doing that too. But, Denver against Jacksonville, why are these teams playing each other? Jacksonville is terrible. Denver is probably the best team in the AFC. This is either going to be a 2-0 forfeit, or I'm picking it 42-3. Because Jacksonville should not be playing this team. Sorry, Jaguars, but you ain't getting ice cream after this show. Or after this game. You're going to lose by more than 20. What else do I have to say? No ice cream for you.
I believe Las Vegas made a bet on this one, and the bet is Denver's supposed to have a margin over 28 points, which is tied for the highest ever in NFL history.
And it will be more than that, believe me, by the end of this game. I just have a feeling.
Unless Payton gets benched early in the game. That's the one thing I'm looking at here.
They'll still whoop them. Seattle against Tennessee.
Tennessee, again, to me, is one of the biggest surprises this year, actually.
And nobody has been listening to me about them. They're the sleeper.
Even without Jake Locker, Fitzpatrick led this team last week against a 4-0 Kansas City team, almost beat them, and just so close. But this week, again, they have another tough challenge against a Seattle team who's been having a great defense, but last week got a little caught up in a game against Indy, where Indy finally stopped their undefeated streak. But again, Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch, I think, are going to be way too powerful for the Tennessee team. I say Seattle 28, Tennessee 17.
He's forgetting one thing. The 12th man. And that is the reason why Seattle wins this game. And they win it a little bigger than people think. If this game were in Tennessee, this game is close. But this game is in the hostile environment that is Seattle. And they will get loud. They will get very loud. And they will win this game 30-10. And it could be higher than that, just because it's in Seattle. What I learned from last year in NFL picks, never pick against Seattle at home. That's one thing I've learned from this experience. Now, Cole's Patriots against Sean Payton's Saints.
Saints coming undefeated in this game as Drew Brees looking great right now, and his entire offense is. Defense doing pretty well as well so far this year. As overall, Sean Payton is showing that with him as a coach, they can do anything. Then you have the New England team who finally got their Tom Brady's broken streak there, as he needed 2 more games to break the record of Drew Brees, who could have tied this week.
I have tissues if you need it.
Nah, I'm good. Don't worry. I'm more worried about the loss in the record. But the thing for New England this week is they get a monster back this week, and that is Gronk, as he is supposed to make his return in his first game of the year this week. And I believe that is going to make this Patriots offense a lot more deadlier. And I believe the Saints' undefeated streak will end this week, as New England will beat them 31-28.
I just have one thing for the Patriots. Gronk, when you come back and when you score your first touchdown, make sure you have the ball in your hand when you spike it. That's all I have to say. Because last time when you scored your first touchdown, that was the main feature in Monday Night Countdown, and my favorite segment of Monday Night Countdowns. Come on, man! Patriots win this game. It's in Foxborough. Gronk is back. I just have a feeling that they're mad that they lost to Cincinnati. Cole's mad. He even wants to punch me right now. But he'll be happy that I picked the Patriots to win 28-24. I just have that feeling. San Francisco against Arizona.
Arizona this year not showing that much on offense, as Carson Palmer doing a better job actually than they have the last couple of years on offense. But their defense this year, I think their defense has been playing pretty well, as they have having some huge games and making some big stops on their defensive play. Then you have a San Francisco team who's still trying to find themselves a little bit, as Kaepernick right now starting to get a little better, starting to get a little more in a groove. As Frank Gore, though, having some huge games in the last couple of weeks here. And San Francisco defense a little bit finding themselves after taking Houston into a big hole a couple of weeks ago. Or this last week, I believe. But I believe San Francisco is going to win this game pretty well, 28-10.
You almost had my score on the mark there. I have 28-14. San Francisco wins. Yeah, Colin Kaepernick still needs another 2 weeks to get into the groove, but Arizona will help him very much, because although Bruce Arians is a great head coach, he will be someday for this team, but San Francisco and Jim Harbaugh and Frank Gore, and somehow Jim Harbaugh will suit up his quarterback once if Colin Kaepernick gets hurt. You just have a feeling because he's that young on the inside. San Francisco wins this one 28-14. Now the Sunday night game. Dallas against RG3.
Well, you have a Washington team coming off a bye week and getting their first win of the year as well 2 weeks ago, as RG3 started to get into a little more of a groove as well as this year's going on, but still struggling as well. As I think overall the Redskins are still trying to find themselves as of right now. Then you have a Dallas team who really surprised me last week of holding up to Denver, even though their defense did not do so good. Their offense was on fire as Tony Romo, I would have to say, had the best game of his career last week as well. And he could have drove that team into a win without that interception at the end of the game. I think he would have won that game and stopped Denver. But again, Dallas, I think they still got to try something to prove themselves, and I think they will prove themselves this week as they are going to beat Washington 28-20.
I'm getting a call right now. 1 second. Yes, hello? Hi, Roger. This is Jerry Jones. I have a question for you. Is there such a category as moral victories? No! My point proven. You still lost, Dallas. I had a feeling that last drive. I thought to myself, Tony Romo will throw an interception that will cost the Cowboys the ball game. And what did he do with 2 minutes to go? He threw an interception that costed the Cowboys the ball game. He won't do that this week because the score will be a little more lopsided towards Washington. I just have a feeling Dallas will have a letdown week, even though it's at home. Washington will come back, rested off the bye week, RG3's knee healed, rested a little better. Washington will win this game, and they will start their comeback trail, 31-20. Now, the Monday night game. The Chargers against the Colts.
You have Indianapolis last week, a huge win, I believe, over Seattle as T.Y. Hilton with an amazing game last week.
And this guy stole him from my draft picks.
Well, I didn't play him last week, so it was kind of a horrible part.
But still, you stole him from
I did,
me.
yes. But a great job last week. He had 2 touchdowns and about 160 yards receiving, if I'm correct. And that one is Andrew Luck as well. I am amazed by this kid right now, as I believe he's doing a great job filling in for Peyton Manning.
Playing quarterback.
Playing quarterback.
So easy a caveman can do it.
And then you have a San Diego team who got shocked last week as they went to Oakland, as somehow the Raiders pulled away with a surprising victory over them. As Phillip Rivers, I think, will be a little charged up going into this week, as that was, I believe, his biggest receiver for this week, Danny Woodhead, who had a horrible game also last week.
You miss him too, don't you, Cole?
Kind of, a little bit. I love the little guy, 5'8", or 5'7", whatever he is. But again, in this game, I gotta go with Indianapolis in this one. 31, San Diego 17.
I also have Indy winning this game because of their big victory over Seattle. They will not have a hangover. Although I think San Diego is a little mad that they lost. They got sucked in by the black hole. It looks like they're not going to get out of it for another week, as Indianapolis will win this game 27-17. T.Y. Hilton will probably get another touchdown pass or another touchdown catch, and I have a feeling Walker is going to run for one. But Indianapolis will win this game 27-17. And with that is our Week 6 picks. No Matt Schaub. It's 6 picks, not pick 6. Screw it. Change it around, Matt. We'll see you next week.